All right, welcome folks to another episode. We have our Zoom up. It's our meetup on Zoom. Glad to have you. I'm joined by my co-host today out of Phoenix. What's up, Keely?
Hey there. Hey there. How's it going?
Going great. We got a great story today. And the reason why we're making these episodes is to show you guys that if you get around the right kind of people, guys and gals, if you get around the right kind of information, community, and support, you can absolutely change your life and do it with real estate. Now, of course, real estate has its inherent risks. There's a lot of money to make. And if you don't do it right, you can also lose a lot of money. So paying attention, having good examples of people around you is very important. And we got quite an amazing story for you. Keely, tell folks what we want them to do after this call, after this show.
Well, if you're here, then you would have been invited by somebody. So you want to make sure to get in touch with the person who invited you. We've got all kinds of amazing events every single week. We even have daily events, lots of workshops, house tours. So definitely plug in with the person who invited you here and stay plugged in with us. Get involved.
Yeah, there's a lot more behind the scenes. You want to see how we work, how you can link arms with us and start getting the benefits that we're currently getting. So we also have an entire whole playlist of these. Go find them on YouTube. I think we're on episode 53 right now and counting. We got more coming. So we're really excited about today. I remember when I met Julie, we met in the basement of an office building because we were just getting started in Denver, and she had a fiery passion to go out there and change her own life. And then also she's now impacted hundreds more. And we're really grateful for her contribution to our community. So let's give a warm welcome to our guest of honor today, Ms. Julie Hudetz Dale.
Yay. This is my first ever Zoom meetup. This is kind of cool. And it's good to see your smiley face, Michael.
Yeah, you too.
One of the best things, just being around everybody's names and people that I see on here reminds me of how much I love this community. Hey, Daniel Park, I see your name on there. Nice. And this is a really, really special community. And part of what attracted me to this from the beginning was people that were thinking differently. We live in such a world where everybody just, you go to school, you do this, you do what society tells you to do. And we're never taught that there's a different way of thinking or doing or being. And I think when I was searching for this, I was searching for financial freedom. I was searching for, I was in a job that I absolutely hated. I was in the corporate world and I had a boss that I was just miserable. I mean, my depression levels were just going down and down and down. And at some point you start to wonder, it's like, how much is my personal happiness worth financially? And there's got to be a balance of how I can love my life. And so when I think about my transformation over the last 6 years now that I've been with this community, wow, it's not only transformed me financially, but my mindset. I think about things so much differently because I continue to learn. And the older I get, the more I crave learning. And
what was your corporate job?
I worked for a company in Boulder doing sales, marketing, sales, training. I've always done things related to sales and marketing and helping people.
Okay. But someone you were saying had their thumb on you, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah. And just I think it was a lot of it too, being around values that I didn't align with. So when you're seeing people who just start stepping on other people to get to the top. And so it wasn't even that I had, wasn't even the work so much as it was the belief system. And it was unhealthy. It was toxic. It was a toxic environment.
Okay.
And working for myself, I get to create my whatever environment that I want. And I get to choose. And I think in everything, relationships, work, all that, it is a choice, constantly a choice of what you want to believe and create and who you want to be around. Oh, and there's Debbie Worthington. I love her.
She was our guest yesterday.
Yay. And yeah, this community is amazing.
Tell us about your first year.
My first year, oh my gosh, it was like, if you can see my visual, because you get it, I just didn't know what I didn't know. And when I thought originally I'm going to do real estate, everybody thinks if you want to do real estate, you have to become a real estate agent. And people are attracted to that because, oh, I like houses and I want to make commissions, big commissions. And so I looked at that, and I met with a real estate agent friend of mine who's very successful. And he said, Julie, the misconception is people that become real estate agents because they want to make a lot of money end up with no time freedom because they're working open houses every weekend. And the average first year income for real estate agents is right around $20,000. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. And so I thought, when I found this community, and I my eyes were open to a new way of doing things. And I thought, really what I want to do is fix and flips. And my husband was a home builder and knew that we wanted to do some creative things, pick up some properties that needed some love. And what I like about that too, is you're making an entire community better. So our first year in, I jumped in 100%. And my first year I think we did 3 fix and flips that year. And to be honest, I can't say, we made so many mistakes on our first one. Even with, it's always, had I known then what I know now. And one of the big values of our community as we continue to grow is we can help each other even more. And you remember back then, Denver was just a baby, we didn't have anything going on. And so I was paving the way, figuring it out as I went. And part of that is we didn't, contractors and all the other things that could have gone a little smoother, but we made this incredibly beautiful home that we flipped, did a few of those, and you just get better the more you do it. And so my first year was definitely a whirlwind, and just charged full speed ahead.
Did you ever feel like quitting?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's funny. I joke about this, as a parent sometimes, when you're a parent, you think, gosh, maybe I should put in my 2-week notice. If any of you out there raising teenagers know how that feels sometimes. And it's like, but you just go, and that's what this community is like. You make a decision, it's a decision to change your life. And I would say the biggest thing that I had to remember, and I've continued to remember, is that it's a marathon, not a sprint. And you want to quit because we expect, like, oh, my first fix and flip is going to be this massive success, and if I don't succeed, then I'm quitting. And we give up on ourselves and on each other way too quickly. And so my wanting to quit was really wanting to quit on myself. And I just keep going back to that quote where the only way to fail is to quit. Mm-hmm. Like, well, not dead yet. Guess I'm going forward. That's what I do. It's like, and you're always looking for new ways and new ways to see things. And that's what I love about this community, is because when you are having a bad day, I don't know if Esther's on the line.
Yeah.
Esther and I have traded, so many, like, oh, I just need a support person, because stuff happens. It's real estate. It's people. It's pandemic, tenants, and there's going to be challenges. But I keep my eye focused on the long-term goal of really, you see the wealthiest people in our country, and it comes to real estate. I talked to a guy on the phone week. I live in Boulder, Colorado. He bought his house in the 70s for $21,000, $21,000 for a house in Boulder, Colorado. You know what it's worth right now? It's worth $2 million. That was 1972. So that's 30 years, 40 years. But still, I mean, you just don't get those kind of returns, and not to mention the tax write-offs. And, real estate, if you learn how to do it and you learn how to do it right, one of my favorite mentors is Mark Kohler, who continues to teach, just put one rental a year, just start building and building and building, and do it smart, because our schools don't teach us how to do this. Right. I have a daughter who's getting married in July, and it's exciting, and she's figuring all this stuff out. And she's like, Mom, why don't they teach you this stuff in school? I'm like, no. Mom, wouldn't it make more sense to own than to rent? I'm like, yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so over the last 5-6 years, if
Mhm.
you still had that job, would you have been able to do all the traveling, everything that you were able to do with your daughter in this
Oh
last?
gosh, no. Oh my gosh, no, no. My daughter, my world, and I have one daughter. I was divorced when she was only 2, so I was a single mom for many years and scraping by paycheck to paycheck, and just always looking for a better way and a different way to do things. And finding this was kind of the allowed me to go to my daughter's soccer game. She ended up playing college soccer, got to go to her soccer games, got to take time off, and was able to just create my own schedule, my own plan. And I think one thing that people forget when you decide to work for yourself is you also have to be your own motivator sometimes, and you have to schedule treat whatever you're doing like a job. And I would say that's one of the things. That's why you see my office the way it is. I mean, I come into my office, my commute is across the hall. It's not that far, but you work and you set goals and you continue working and for the big picture and the long-term plan. That's what I'm
Julie,
committed to. Mhm.
I'm loving hearing your story since you and I don't know each other yet. So I'm looking forward to meeting you someday. So in your first year, you did 3 transactions and you said you've been in this group for 6 years now. So
Mhm.
what else have you been working on over the last 6 years?
Yeah. So a few things that I've always been passionate about is, and one of my previous work was in foreclosures. So I think too, having been a single mom, I know how quickly we can, you fall behind one check and you're stuck. So I have a passion for helping people out of foreclosure, and to do is there's a strategy called subject to. And so the subject to strategy allows me to go in and basically rescue people from foreclosure or buy a house. Like I bought a house in Indiana, for example, out of foreclosure. And the story is kind of cool because another single mom got kicked out. I fixed it up and basically let her rent it back. So I have a rental in Indiana. So now I have 4 rentals. I've got a subject to for these people that they had a special needs son and they were stuck, and they needed to get to Florida. So I basically bailed them out of foreclosure, took over the property and let them go on their way and save their house from foreclosure. And then what I do, my incentive for that obviously is I love helping people, but then if I can bring the strategy to the table, it saves a foreclosure. So foreclosure doesn't go on their record. I'm able to rent it, which for more than what the mortgage is. So I'm cash flowing positive. I am able to fix it up a little bit and then make a profit on it. Whereas the people that were in foreclosure couldn't have done that because they didn't have the capital to do that. And I think sometimes as real estate investors, we get seen as you're just trying to steal houses from people that are in a tough situation. And my passion and my website, if you guys want to check it out, it's called createawinwin.com. And what I do is seek to how can we solve a problem? How can we create a solution that helps everybody? And so the people that I help, these guys, I still keep in touch with the people that were in foreclosure and are out, and they're like, hey, my credit's coming back up. And then I'm like, okay, well, we've got a free credit repair program I can show you how to use. And so it's just what I love about what I've learned and what I do is, yes, I make money, but it's helping change people's lives, one situation at a time. And I think, especially right now in this crazy pandemic and people are living out of a lot of fear. And if we can help people realize that there's a different way and there's maybe to think about things, different way to maybe strategize your finances, a different way to even buy property, it helps everybody.
So when you first were taking a look at this, and did you have to go home and consult your husband if this was a good idea for you or not?
Well, Michael, you know me well enough. I am a somewhat independent, strong-willed minded person. And you've heard that theory. It's sometimes better to ask for forgiveness than permission. That's kind of what I did. yeah, I just knew it was right for me. And there's sometimes some things that it's like I knew this was right for me. And and honestly, he wasn't supportive at the beginning. He thought I was crazy. Well, I still am kind of crazy. But it's been fun to watch the journey because I've grown so much as a person. And I mean, the education and all I've learned is just such a small part of what I've got out of this community. I mean, this is a lifetime experience. This isn't like, hey, just go to this workshop for a weekend and we'll never see you again. I mean, this is, you're in it for, you can't put a value on that, on the community and the lessons that you've learned. Sometimes people think of, oh, well, how much is this going to cost me or whatever? And I think, oh my gosh, do you have any idea how much it's going to save you? One bad deal. I see it happen all the time. I've seen people lose tens of thousands of dollars just because they didn't know.
Right.
So it's, yeah, my husband, he's fine. But
He's over it now.
he's over it. I took him on a few of our retreats and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you know what else I love about this community? It's like, yeah, I love my husband. But like I see some of the girls, I think Renee popped on and Debbie's on and Esther's on. And, I just love the people that I've met through here. And sometimes it's like, how do you get to know other people that are like-minded? And if you're working a regular W-2 job and going into an office where everybody's miserable, then, if you become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, what do you want to be like?
Yeah.
So I feel very fortunate with a lot of the people I've been able to meet through this community that I truly feel like they make me a better person.
Awesome.
And I miss you guys. I wish I could give you a big hug.
I know.
I so miss meeting in person. I'm an extrovert and this in-home stuff is tough.
Right.
Nothing like those group hugs that we, every Wednesday night, like you get to lots of hugs.
Right. And Saturday mornings and yeah,
all that good stuff. So Zoom hugs.
Right. Number 1 rule here, stay alive. Stay alive, folks.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, awesome. Thank you so much for taking some time with us today and sharing your story and your background and your transformation. And it looks like, the kind of people you're impacting. You got some big fans out there too. So keep up the great work.
Thank you.
And let's keep sharing that message.
Thanks. Thanks for having me. Thanks. Hi to everybody. I see all your sweet comments.
Yeah. So like we said earlier, we have a playlist of these. Get to know us, link arms with us, schedule your strategy session so we can figure out where you're at, where you want to go and build that bridge. Everybody's a little bit different. And so it's important that we have that personal touch. So get back with the person who invited you here, get the playlist, hear the stories, and let's work on your transformation as well. Thanks for being here, Keely, helping me out. Everybody, have a wonderful day. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Thanks, Julie.